So with the do now, we finna start with the do now. And this is the do now. Y'all have y'all response cards. The SRCs are ahead. And so this is the question for the do now. This is our do now right here. So we're gonna start off with the do now. Give y'all 5 minutes. And so we're gonna look at a high order thinking question for next week. And we're gonna use the race in order to answer that question. And then once we answer that question, we're gonna share out. We're going to share out. So everybody had their response cards?
Yes.
Okay, so let's look at a high order thinking question for next week. Pull it up on the Google Doc for me. Yeah. See how fast I work? So let me display the question up. And y'all pick for Monday, right? And then y'all choose which one y'all want to work on. So y'all will use one of these here for the 13th, which high order thinking question that you want to use. And so y'all gonna write it. Y'all gonna answer it. Remember, we using race. So always remember with race, even we doing it with race, the first thing you got to do is you got to rewrite or restate the question. Then after you restate the question, then you will answer the question. Then after you answer the question, you're gonna cite where you got that evidence from. And so which means I know we might not know the site right off, but we can actually just go by. Okay?
I mean, for math, it's hard to cite it, no?
Yeah. So y'all could either do the same one. Make sure y'all put y'all names on them. And so either y'all could do the same one or y'all could do separate, whichever one y'all feel like y'all want to do.
Let's focus on number one.
Okay, number one. How are ratios used to determine the rate of an item? So with that, sometimes y'all might have to identify what is a ratio and also what is a rate. But if y'all able to go right into it, let's go right into it. How ratio, you have 5 minutes. Hold on, let me get my phone so I could time it. So make sure y'all names are on them also. So how are ratios used to determine the rate of an item? You have 3 minutes. 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes. You have 2 minutes and 30 seconds. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. You have 1 minute. 1 minute. Make sure y'all names on them. 1 minute. Okay, 30 seconds. 15 seconds. Like New Year's, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're done. So anyone want to share out?
So basically, we can use ratios used to determine the rates of an item by, basically, you're trying to find the value of 1. And the way you can do that is by writing the ratio into a fraction,
Okay.
then simplify.
Okay.
For example, if you have 12 units over 4, you simplify, you'll just get 3.
Okay.
You get 3 per item or whatever it is.
Okay, wherever the price of it is.
Yes.
Okay. So anyone else? Okay, name on your card. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing, just thank you. So now, it's just some updates or just some announcement. Remember that do not forget to do the data chat with the students. Next Tuesday, the 14th, that's when y'all doing the MOY, which is the map, NWEA. So you have to make sure that you are doing that you are having a data chat with the students beforehand. So make sure you make time within your class time in order to sit down with your students to tell them where they are now with the BOY and also their goal and what they need to do on the MOY to be successful. The other thing, we will be doing a demo. Every time we come in here, we will be doing a demo. So the demo will be different. Today, the demo will be based off of so today our demo will be based off engagement strategies. So this here, so when the team get up, somebody from each content will have to do a demo. So for the math, it will be Mr. Wynn, where he gonna have to do one engagement strategy, and then we're gonna end up giving you feedback on that. So it's like anything that you want to do for next week. If you want to pull a lesson for next week, put it up, and then after that, and then an engagement strategy that you will actually implement for everyone. Make sure that the classroom are prepared and ready for each day. So I always make sure in the bins we supposed to have pencils, highlighters, dry eraser markers, dry erasers, and also the response cards. Make sure we have the response cards, and also make sure we have our LSAE in there also. So make sure all that is ready for each day. These are just some of them is updates, some of them is just a reminder since we're returning back from the winter break. One major thing, make sure we are pushing out on time into the team center. Make sure that we're starting the DOL on time, and make sure that the students are pushing out on time. And I always remember, Mr. Safi, is when one student have completed the DOL, that's when you go into the team center and you wait and receive the other student. So don't wait for no one from each class, all the students in each class to get done. Just start taking them at that time to the team center. And y'all know PLC is only on Tuesdays now. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday is self-guided. When y'all come to me on Tuesday, y'all need to have your demonstration of learning complete, and you also need to have your quad need to be completed also. So make sure that y'all keep that in mind. And that's it for me for now. So y'all ready? So you already completed the DOL, correct? Yes. Okay, so y'all want to go over the quad to make sure everyone agree on the questions, and also to make sure that we agree on the student success criteria, and make sure that the students have their student success criteria in hand when they're in the classroom. So make sure that they're checking it off to make sure to let you know if they understand what they should be doing in class or even with the task, in order for them to master the LO and also to be successful on the DOL. So let's look at for Monday. So we have the LO is student will be able to represent mathematical and real world problems involving ratios and rates using the scale factor. Yeah. So remember that this here need to be annotated also. So make sure that we annotate that. What we're gonna key in based off our DOL and annotation for the learning objective. So make sure that we are circling the verb. We're gonna circle the verbs in the LO and the DOL, and we're gonna underline the key academic term also. So we need to make sure that we're doing that. Okay, and so let's look at this here to see if we need to add anything, if we need to take anything out as a team. So with the student success criteria, the students are using cubes to annotate. So every time that they have to read, or when they writing, or when they thinking, making sure that they are annotating also. So make sure that they are annotating the information. So using cubes. So this is gonna always be the first one, like we always do. And then the next thing, since we're dealing with ratios involving real world problems, we have to make sure they know what a ratio is. We have to make sure they know what a ratio is, and also what a rate. What is the difference between the two? How do you determine the difference between a ratio and also a rate? So we have to make sure. Okay, identify a scale factor. So how can they go by identifying the scale factor? What would they need in order to say what is the scale factor or what is not a scale factor?
The multiplication chart. Know how to multiply and divide by the same number.
Okay, multiply and divide by the same number? Okay, so using the scale factor, and also proportion. So remember, proportion, when they doing a proportion, they just setting it up to as a fraction, and they have to equal each other. That's basically what a proportion is. Okay, so we agree with these here for the student success criteria? Or do we need to add something? Do something need to be added? Or something need to, do one of them need to be taken away? Or that's fine? Remember, we basing it off the LO now.
Yeah. I guess we could say identify and solve for proportions.
Right here?
Yeah, so.
Identify and solve?
Because kids can identify, and sometimes we put it right here.
Or just start anew? Okay.
Portions.
Okay.
And then we can identify ratios, but we can also solve for rates.
Okay.
This is what we just did earlier for the.
Okay. Okay. Okay, that's it. Okay. What about a high order thinking course? Remember when we were doing high order thinking, we're using the Bloom taxonomy. And so remember, even with the high order thinking, it might be something within the DOL that we could pull something out to identify or to answer. So it would be a big help for the students. So that was fine. How ratio used to determine the rate of an item. What is your opinion on scale factor? So we have to answer that one. How would we go by answer this one here? Or for scale factor? Or no.
Do you want to change number 2?
Number 2? Okay. Remember, look at the DOL for the 13th in your slide.
Because we got a couple of scale factors in there.
Okay.
So I'm trying to.
So if you're looking at
what we could use.
And Mr. Safi, just make sure that whatever anchor charts are needed, make sure that they have all of the anchor charts ready. And so just make sure that they have them ready. So if they need them like just showing a ratio of a table, because I think tomorrow on the 14th, they're going to be talking about tables and graph on the 14th also. Okay. So which one? Number 2?
Yeah, so for scale factor, the main thing is focusing on number 2 on the DOL. I'm trying to see what kind of questions could better help them solve it.
So we looking at it?
So, for example, if you look over here, it's all scaling by 7.
Yeah.
Meaning multiply by 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. But I'm trying to figure out what kind of question we can use to help them.
And the number of viewers can each day from the first day to the 5th day. So let's look down here, see what they got down there.
Yeah. I guess
basically, how can you determine the scale factor?
Yeah, we can just write what conclusions can you draw from the scale factor.
Okay.
What conclusions can you draw from a scale factor?
From a scale factor?
Yeah, but when we explain scale factor, because scale factoring is just the ways it can multiply into itself.
Yeah.
So, for example, like 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 times 2.
Yeah.
It's hard, but it's trying to understand the concept.
Yeah, it's like jumping, like a frog jumping leaping from one pad to the other pad. And so, and that's what they have to do. Because even if they have this here, like a different form, like in a different form where I saw on this. So yeah, like number 2. So what did they do to get from here to here?
They multiply. I get that, but I don't know if they will get how to answer number 2.
Okay, what conclusion?
Difficult because we have a lot of EVs. I guess we can take, I don't know, try to find like items that we can bring to help give more visual aids.
You're right.
How would you answer?
Yeah.
Well, the easiest thing is by multiplying. That's just a straight, quick answer.
Yeah. So they just leave it,
That way. It's just what conclusions can you scale, like we can focus on scale factor, which is just how it's just being multiplied, it's divided by the same.
Okay. So what about number 3? How can proportion be applied to find the length of a model? From this here came from this one here, from number 1. But
there's multiple ways of going about it, but that's only how to set it up. In order for us to.
So, because that's and up here, and the only thing is that, and that's what they have it doing with that one there.
This question will also help us for tomorrow.
Yeah, for the 14th.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm getting ready to show y'all. We getting ready to go to the 14 in a minute. But with the 14, we might have to make changes though.
I mean,
So,
kind of use the same question because the more repeated that they see, well, this one specifically, it'll help them start memorizing.
Okay.
So that's going to focus on both, on the 13 and the 14.
yeah. And then just like I told, since y'all have like another grade level, they have multiple days on one team.
Yeah, exactly.
And so if you have multiple days, and like I told them, maybe on the third day, they could switch up the high order thinking question. Because you're probably not going to get to all of the high order thinking questions in one day. And then,
Like, for example, on, let's say the 13, let's say they can't answer it.
right, and then the 14,
Yeah, and then the following day they might.
and then they probably be able to answer it.
So,
Because they probably have more information.
so we'll just readjust the first two, but we can still repeat that
The
last.
third one, okay.
Because you will see it both on the DOL.
Okay, so everybody agree with this one? Okay, you got to teach for Tuesday, for the 14th? Where my stuff here, there. And type it in, if you're able to type it in for me.
Yeah, I got you.
No, we just gonna pull something from next week, a slide. Okay, you got the 14 up? Which way we got? Did y'all change it?
Well, we only read just the same.
Okay, so you want the same question?
Just number 3.
Okay,
Because the other ones can help with the graphs because they do focus on graphs more on the 14.
okay, and what about
So
the student success?
it's just between 2 items using the table. Because this one's going to help us with number 1 on the DOL.
Okay, and number 2?
Graph will help with number 2 and number 3.
Okay,
And then number 4 will also cover number 1. The hot question for number 1.
okay,
I think we should be pretty good. And then 3 will just help us with part B on number
okay. So how can you prove if a graph is related to a table
Yeah.
with the same what? With the same ratio or with the same
So let me see.
for number 2?
Number 2 is with the graphs.
Yeah, but it said how can you prove if a graph is related to a table with the same? We just making a correction. Okay. So like for the 14th.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the DOLs.
So the only things about that is that you can see it by looking at where the
Right.
be located.
Right.
And eventually you can answer something like that.
Right.
But just learning how to plot from the graph to from the table to a graph.
Right.
Or vice versa. Because you can find your X,
Yeah, here it is, but here the table is different.
switch between the two
Okay.
by looking at it.
All right.
So I think that one's pretty solid. And then how can the proportional length be found? That one.
So at what level of Bloom's taxonomy did we identify our learning objective is written at?
Our learning objective represent the mathematic real world problem involving ratios.
Let Mr. Wynn share with us what he thinks.
Yeah, I apologize.
Or
I'm a little confused on the
Ms.
question.
Davidson. So when we're looking at Bloom's taxonomy levels 1 through 6, when we're looking just at that learning objective, right? At what level is that learning objective written?
I mean, we can see it as from like 4 and 5 because it's evaluating and analyzing like tables and graphs and such. So they can focus on, yes, number 4 and number 5. Because we haven't reached 6 yet because they're not technically creating their own yet.
So the students will have to represent mathematical and real world problems,
Yes.
right? What does it mean when they have to represent? What is meaning by that?
You're just trying to create a connection between real world and, using ratios such as how much money per bag or ounce of a chip, how much are you paying per ounce, stuff like that. So we're going to try to push it to a point where they can use it like on the daily basis, grocery stores, or understand bills as they go up.
So the students are having to analyze, right? That's the third level. So our higher order thinking questions should have sentence stems that are at that level or higher in order for us to get the appropriate level of what? Rigor. Correct? So how are we pushing the students' productive struggle in our questioning? Because if we're asking them the relationship between two items using the table, I think that that's probably at the same level what? Analyze, right? So where's the rigor coming in with the other two questions in our question stems? Just think about that as you build out. Do you need that tool too, so that y'all can participate in that? You're missing that tool?
I have it here.
You have it. Do you have that tool, Ms. Davidson? The Bloom's taxonomy tool?
This is where I have it.
Right. So we're saying that the learning objective is written here already. So we're going to invoke the level of rigor for the kids. We need to go to level 4, 5, or 6. So we got to create sentence stems that come from those areas. Or else we're not creating the rigor. Higher order thinking questions are designed to create the rigor in the productive struggle. Make sense, Mr. Wynn?
Yes, ma'am.
Make sense, Davidson?
So we go to number 2.
Creating. So we can use these sentence stems or Chat GPT. You can cheat. But when you write it in Chat GPT, you got to say using the evaluation or analyzing of Bloom. And it can create the higher order thinking question for you guys.
And focus on, the x-axis and y-axis
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Okay.
Find the connection between the two.
Okay.
And then they can also use unit rates from the x and the y.
Okay. What is the relationship between two items using a table or using a graph? Well, we probably have to change that one too.
I like that first.
You like that one? So what are we saying? What is the relationship between two items using? I think it's using a table. I don't know if I had table or graph.
Oh, yeah, on the table.
Yeah. And so since you,
They can see what factors are they going to be using. Either times 3, or you can do times 3, times 6, or you can go up and down.
And then down
side to
here.
side.
yeah. Which means that it should be the same, like face off on like the
Yes,
same
as
unit,
long
right?
as you're
Yeah.
Factoring. As long as it's being multiplied by the same number, everything's going to be
Right.
equal to each other.
Okay.
Remember, we're all eagerly watching so that we can provide some really healthy feedback.
Right, if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Thank you so much, Team TSU, for following the directions the first time we asked you. So we're going to go ahead and do this little recap slides where we're identifying the layers of the Earth. Now, this is something we have already done, so I'm trying to see who remembers what we did last week. Okay? So the first thing that I have for you, you have your student handouts, right? Please go ahead and take them out. And go ahead and find this page right here, where you have this little Earth diagram. I know it's very similar. Right, so first thing we're going to do, I want you to think about it. I want you to go back to the last week and remember, we talked about the layers of the Earth. Have your whiteboards out, please. In about 5, 4, 3, 2, thank you, Table Harvard is ready. 1, UFH is ready. PB is ready. Good job. All right, so let's move on. I want you to label your whiteboard 1, 2, 3, 4. Because how many layers of the Earth have we talked about? 4. How many? 4. Thank you so much. Right, go ahead and label your whiteboard 1, 2, 3, 4 for me. I'm coming around to check, making sure you got it down. Okay, good job, good job. All right, so now I want you to go ahead, use these words that I have already laid out for you. Everybody say mental. Mental. Inner core. Inner core. Crust. Crust. Outer core. Outer core. You're going to use these words and you're going to label this Earth diagram. I'm going to say for about a minute. How many time? A minute. So I want my translators to please go ahead and translate to your partner. What did I just tell you to do? Okay, so talk, talk, talk. Quickly translate to your partners, please, what you need to do. Coming back together in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So now, as the timer is going on, I want you to go ahead and label your diagram while I'm coming around collecting your data. Okay, I'm going to be coming around collecting what? Data. Data. All right. So go ahead and you may begin. My timer is going on my phone somewhere. Okay. All right, I see some of you are very fast. Good job. Right, tables. I see that a lot of you are done. Very good, very good. Okay, so 5, 4. Make sure your boards are down. Do not put up your boards till I say show, please. Do not put up your boards till I say show. And you must put your markers down. No more writing, no more copying, okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and show. Up, 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 boards up, boards up, boards up, boards up. Boards up, boards up, boards up. Okay, boards down. I want to say about 70% of you got this correct. One of the things I do want to mention that I see all across the board is you getting confused with inner core and outer core. Why do you think we're getting confused, Ms. Lopez?
They both have core?
I know. They both have core. That was one of the things that we missed. Remember, we're focusing on the word what? Outer and inner. So inner core would be which one? Which number? 2? If it's the inner core, it will be most likely going to be 1, right? Because it's all the way inside. And the next one we're going to have outer core, right outside the inner core. And that will be all. Thank you so much.
Feedback, 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 feedback.
Well, I would like to give feedback to Zamed. Praise, absolutely. I think that EBs and our main population alike would definitely have a great time with this slide because they were able to get the information through the translation and they quickly went into finding out what they already knew, their equities, what they knew about the slide, and then the misconception was quickly addressed as well.
I think this Ahmed's teacher presence was amazing. I definitely saw some evidence-based practices, especially for the EB students with the read aloud and those quick responses, as well as the opportunities for the translations like Ms. Lopez said. I also liked the way that she collected the data and went around and made sure to stamp the misconception, especially the most common misconception, which would be the inner and the outer core.
I love the vocab that she used throughout her lesson, as far as in addressing the table groups, as in Prairie View, TSU. Also, the academic vocabulary in the lesson, the outer core, the inner core as well.
Awesome job. I was just like, as a visual learner, maybe a suggestion that when she did the reteach, she maybe like had some color or something where she can actually identify on the visual, the inner and the outer.
Awesome. Any other feedback?
I like how she grabbed everybody's attention at the beginning, so we knew that we were about to get started.
I think that was phenomenal, Ahmed, and nothing to add. I love the Dr. Brown's note of when you go to 1, 2, 3, 4 for the reteach, go ahead and write the answers up there. You don't need 5 seconds to show the whiteboards. 2, 1, 2, 3, up. Like get them quick, get them moving so your pacing moves quicker, and dive direct and move it faster. That would be my only thing. I would just did it with a little quicker because it's a whiteboard and it was prior knowledge. You ain't gotta dig that deep and keep it moving. Anchor chart, hey, look over there. You may get some clues over there. Remember this, and then keep it flowing. But phenomenal job. We don't have time to go to do 2 more because I want to get y'all back to class. But think about this. What are you gonna walk out of here away with based on what you just saw her do? What did you just see her do with whiteboards, right? Tracking. She was tracking. She adjusted instruction based on it.
I was just gonna say she tweaked the instruction.
She
to make
pivoted.
sure that everybody was understanding and on the same page.
Students knew what they were doing. Walk away with those in your toolbox as you go back in class right now. Because all of you have a whiteboard built in your instruction in your next class, right? What did you see you can put in place right now? Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till next week because you just saw an exemplary example.